There's no better way to program your subconscious mind than listening to positive statements over and over. And there's no better way to do that than in a semi-meditative alpha brainwave state. I've created 3 prosperity meditations on hightimelinebooks.com to help you do just that. And for a limited time, you can get all 3 for the price of 2. So take your life to a higher vibe. Check them all out at hightimelinebooks.com.
Hello, Fun Astrology Podcast listeners. Today is March 4th, 2025. I'm Lizz Grace Christie. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we are waking up with the moon in the sign of Taurus. As Luna approaches the evening, Eastern Standard Time, around 8 p.m., she will make a conjunction to the rebellious planet Uranus in the 23rd degree of the sign. 23 degrees denotes this being the last decan of the sign of Taurus, the third to be exact, which is symbolic of spirit, as well as encompassing of the energies of Taurus, but also the sign of Capricorn, the most mature earth sign of the zodiac, because it is the last in the evolution of the earth element. If I lost you there, just hold on and we'll get to the synthesis very soon. With everything that I just laid out on the table, what I am saying is that today has a mature layer to it. There is something to be distinguished today, something to be seen. However, that may be a little difficult because the moon, being in the sign of Taurus, is in an inconjunct to the sign of Aries, because it is literally right next to it. Aries and Taurus are basically side by side, but they're not looking at one another on the zodiac wheel. So we would consider this a blind spot. With that in mind, the moon conjunct Uranus in the 23rd degree of the decan of spirit, as well as Capricorn. This is saying that a spiritual cardinal beginning is afoot, and it is something that is certainly in the realm of the beyond. With the moon being in Taurus, today has a very Venusian emphasis to it, which leads me to my next point. Venus just recently went retrograde on March 1st, last Saturday, in the 10th degree of the sign of Aries. The 10th degree is considered to be within the first decan, meaning that this decan is associated with the body as well as Aries. This is an Aries decan, if you catch my drift. This is a very martial decan. This is also a decan that Venus and Mercury will not escape anytime soon. Mercury in our skies today rests within the 2nd degree of the sign of Aries, which is, as I've already said, associated with the body and an Aries flavor. I'm not going to get into the monotony of decans or decanades, as Robert Glasscock says, because this is the Fun Astrology Podcast, and Thomas has created old soul, new soul for you all to tap in to learn and explore astrology further. I'm going to get to the point with the concept of body and spirit on the brain today, but those two are not seeing each other quite so well. Today might be a good day to practice meditation, to practice gratitude, and to go listen to what Thomas Miller has to offer you with his invention of March funness as opposed to madness. He has created some Piscean-inspired content geared towards your highest timeline. He's producing all this content and posting it on his other podcast, the Subconscious Mind Mastery Podcast. Carrying on back to the report for March 4th, 2025, with the fact that Aries and Taurus are side by side one another on the zodiac wheel, we know that these two also represent an evolutionary shift. With the moon conjunct Uranus this evening around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a flash from the future might enter our subconscious minds, something that is in discordance with our physical reality, body, Aries, where Venus is, along with the planet Mercury, who is resting within the 2nd degree of the sign. Mercury is a fast mover, and over the night, last night, March 3rd into March 4th, Mercury crossed over a very critical degree, the 0 Aries degree, also known as the vernal equinox point, along with the Aries vortex. This is a critical point because many planets will come to cross over this point of new beginnings. So, with that in mind, today, consider yourself gifted, granted, and with sight. There is something in the air that is communicating with you, and it is beyond your vision. Listen to your higher self and your intuition. There's a lot on the horizons here, and we are in a time of renewal along with reflection. Let's think back to February 1st. That is when Venus crossed over the Aries vortex point for the first time. She'll be making a second cross over that point on March 25th. But before we futurecast, let's think of the past. Back on February 1st, what was going on in your life? Because more than likely, whoever you encountered and whatever you were doing during that time will be up for review. Whatever was left untied or maybe just beginning will further on in its story being told. So if you met someone special around that time, I guarantee you they'll be back around. Or to even go further in the past, anyone from your very past beyond February 1st may show their face if there's something from that time that you also left untied. The universe would love nothing more for us than to all collectively move forward into the spring equinox for us on the Northern Hemisphere with our scales in balance. And now I'm talking about the sign of Libra, which is a sign that is opposite to Aries and also a sign that is ruled by the planet Venus. So focus on Libra, focus on Venus. Don't be fierce and Martian. I know there's a lot of spicy energy out there. Keep it to yourself. If you ain't got nothing good to say, then don't say anything at all right now. In fact, just do the inner work so that you can find out how to not judge yourself so much so you stop judging other people. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to the end. This is the Fun Astrology Podcast, and we are in March funness, y'all. Let's raise the energy by enjoying the Pisces planets. Just because there's chaos outside doesn't mean it can't be fun in here. Go listen to what Thomas has to offer over at the Subconscious Mind Mastery. I'm Liz Grace Christie. You will hear from me next week. Bye.